Leyva querida, de Colombia sin igual, con tus calles empedradas y tu plaza principal. Tu familia florido contrastan con lo demás, y en tu cenalla escondida, Villa de Leyva querida, tu hermosura colonial.
Villa de Leyva, a place to live and feel at the rhythm of your beating heart. At the foot of a majestic chain of mountains, in the center of the northeastern department of Boyacá, Colombia, lies the town of Villa de Leyva, a simply spectacular sight that enlightens the soul and invites astonishment when contemplating the perfect blend of nature, architecture, color, and culture. It is the perfect site for those who possess a passion for beauty. Here, your heart will beat at the rhythm of its delightful surroundings. This is Villa de Leyva.
Sou do Brasil.
Ako ay galing Pilipinas.
Me encanta Colombia, me encanta Villa de Leyva.
Mahal ko ang Villa de Leyva. Magaling, babalik ako dito.
This land, a desert at first sight, was actually covered by ocean water millions of years ago. The ammonites, mollusks, and vegetable fossils that are now found lying around are proof of this. With the passing of time, the detachment of the continents caused the Los Andes mountain chain to emerge. Then, prehistoric animals dwelled in these valleys in a Jurassic setting. Dinosaur fossils are found all around the area, as well as in the local prehistoric and paleontological museums. The most renowned is the Chronosaurus, an 8-meter-long reptile that lived 115 million years ago, one of the only 2 specimens of this type discovered to date. In the 1st and 2nd centuries before Christ, the Muisca ancestors had their own astronomical observatory, which was later named Little Inferno by the Spanish clergy that arrived to settle in the area. The carved phallic stone monuments that still stand as a symbol of human fertility and the object of their cult and religious ceremonies allowed the indigenous people to learn about the climatic changes by means of movements and the formation of shadows cast on them by the sun. According to a myth of the Chipcha Indians, this region is the cradle of humanity. The legend has it that the Bachwe mother rose from the Iguaque Lake with a child in her arms, who as an adult became her husband and the father of the first inhabitants. They taught their children to work the land. When they grew old, they exhorted their people to avoid evil. Then they turned themselves into serpents and entered the waters. Ever since, Iguaque is known to be a sacred landmark. The Villa of Our Lady of St. Mary de Leyva was founded on the 12th of June in the year 1572 by Hernán Suárez de Villalobos, when Andrés Díaz Venero de Leyva was president of the new Reign of Granada. Due to the Spanish invasion into what was, at the time, Indian territory, the town was moved twice. The first time in 1575 and then in 1584 to where it is at present. Signs of this are the remaining ruins in the neighboring town of Monquirá. The site and settlement where the villa is founded, the best in the kingdom and the most excellent to acquire good human health. This was written by the Spaniard Juan de Castellanos, who built one of the first houses in Villa de Leyva that included 8 gateways carved in stone and 12 arches in honor of the apostles. On the facade it reads, May God long conserve this construction in suffrage of my soul. 1607. Today, this is where the town council operates. Antonio Ricaurte was born in Villa de Leyva in the year 1786 and immortalized for having given the American continent the greatest example of heroism in the struggle for liberty from the Spanish oppression. Here, the Colombian Air Force established a military museum in honor of this man, considered to be their patron. Precursor of the independence of Colombia, Antonio Nariño chose Villa de Leyva as the place where he was to spend his last days. He passed away in 1823. Villa de Leyva witnessed the birth of a free Colombia when on the 4th of October, 1812, the First Congress of the United Provinces of the Nueva Granada, presided by the eminent Camilo Torres, was inaugurated. The dawn of the Republic started to shine in this parlor where the foundations of the Colombian state were laid. Reason for naming the patio of this house the Garden of Our Forefathers. The liberator, Simón Bolívar, passed through the villa in 1819, visiting the monastery of the barefooted Carmelita novices. Annexed to this convent, dated 1645, is the church constructed in the mid-19th century in Andalusia architecture. This corner is completed with a seminar for apprentice priests and one of the most important religious art museums in Colombia. With sober and elegant simplicity, the Carmen Square captivates the attention of the passers-by. Excellent samples of the religious fervor that have existed in this region are the antique convents of San Francisco, San Agustin, the Ecce Homo, the San Jose Church. These all beautifully adorn the colonial surroundings of this native soil. In the centuries 19 and 20, the villa also served as the fountain of inspiration of the eminent Colombian writers Luis Vargas Tejada and José María Vargas Vila. The internationally renowned Luis Alberto Acuña, who was writer, sculptor, and painter, left an important artistic legacy in Villa de Leyva. The museum named after him speaks for itself. Embellishing the frame of the main public square is the cathedral, built in the 17th century and admired for its harmonious architecture and its characteristic Castilian tower.
Pues de lo que he visto me ha parecido como el pueblo más lindo que he visto en Colombia, como pueblo. Me gusta la arquitectura y también me recuerda mucho a España, su arquitectura, las casas, los patios.
During the time of the colony, these were lands of plenty for agricultural production, famous in the whole kingdom of the Nueva Granada. The Spaniards planted olive trees for the production of olives and olive oil, some of which are still intact. Wheat of excellent quality was also cultivated in this region. Here, 16 wheat mills were in permanent activity. This land is privileged for its mild, temperate climate that is recommended by medical science to those who need therapy for various health reasons. It is located at 2,125 meters above sea level, with an average temperature of 18 degrees centigrade. Villa de Leyva, an oasis for those who love peace of mind. In Villa de Leyva, there are also beautiful natural attractions. Its impressive desert contrasts with its infinite variety of greens in the flora and fauna sanctuary of Iguaque. The landscape seems to have been created with a fine paintbrush. Here, your heart will again throb at the rhythm of this enchantment. Another splendorous spot is La Periquera, a superb place that will lift your spirits, delight your soul, and let your imagination fly. Its waterfall is the maximum expression of this magnificent spectacle. Here, all your senses will come alive. This is Villa de Leyva, a place seemingly invented by poets. It is a paradise where a charming celestial magic reigns. The blue springs in the rural fields spread a delicious enchantment that connects the fantastic with the realistic. Another interesting place is the Ostrich Farm. These gigantic birds greet and invite the tourist to spend a pleasant time in their company. Both children and adults delight in learning about their many distinctive characteristics. Thanks to its geographical position, Villa de Leyva is fortunate to possess a special atmosphere and luminosity that makes the area sensitive to agricultural diversity. At a medium scale, onion and tomato crops help the economy of the municipality. Vineyards that produce exquisite harvest of the delicious and inspiring fruit embellish the rural countryside of this marvelous village. A great variety of products are sold in the open market, where families gather to supply their pantries.
Mire, la planta que reemplaza el azúcar. Buena para los riñones, buena para el corazón, para el reumatismo, la artritis y la diabetes.
Even in domestic gardens, an assortment of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and flowers helps the livelihood of the household, converting the patios of these homes into special places.
E vieni a Villa de Leyva e fai un weekend aquí, similar a un film, ¿no? Que tienes la naturaleza, la arte, todo es creativo, le pittoresque ristorante, la inglesa, la architettura.
An unequaled attraction in Villa de Leyva is its fascinating architecture. Preserved throughout the centuries around the countryside and in the town, an enchantment exists that captivates the visitor's appreciation for beauty. Time has stopped in this magical village where the aesthetic and architectural virtues talk about history and poetry within its green doors and balconies surrounded by white walls. The cobbled roads safeguard ancestral footprints that intermingle with the strides of new generations. Flower blossoms peer timidly through the mud shingles. Wood, stone, and adobe amalgamate to give a touch of elegance to the classical Spanish-style town. Tourists, peasants, elderly citizens, and children appreciate the landscape and the colonial architecture, not to mention the main square, embellished with its elegant solitary fountain that used to be the source of water for its earlier inhabitants. The town of Villa de Leyva has been an ideal stage for TV series and films.
Parece para mí que Colombia es un secreto que qué pena que el mundo no sabe qué pasó aquí, qué posibilidades con Villa de Leyva, que es muy, pero muy chévere, es rico, es un sueño.
Any time of the year is enjoyable to visit Villa de Leyva due to its great variety of events that have acquired national and international fame. In January, the clear sky allows you to see the splendor of its stars in the astronomical festival, when the locals delight themselves observing the heavens and participating in this encounter. During the Easter holidays, the community and its visitors share a time of spiritual recollection during the customary celebrations. The anniversary of Villa de Leyva is commemorated in June, when customs and traditions that have marked the life of this town are renewed.
Morenita, que me estoy muriendo por esa boquita, tampoco se pesca, tan coloradita, como una manzana, ay, ya que se madurita, ay, ya que me está diciendo, no vaya tan todo cerdoso, que chupa, que pesa, que más sabroso, y así me lo dice mi morenita, que me está diciendo, no vaya tan duro, su condenada, que más por esto no sabía nada, y así me lo dice mi morenita.
The intention of the traditional patron festivities in mid-July is to worship the Virgin del Carmen, protector of the municipality. This is again another motive for everyone to gather at the variety of celebrations in her name.
Toros y artistas en Villa de Leyva, en sus tradicionales ferias y fiestas, en honor a la Virgen del Carmen, 16, 17 y 20 de julio.
When August winds whirl around shingles and trees, it is Kite Festival time, an ideal event for families to share this magic pastime that fills the sky with color, allowing everyone's imagination to fly.
Yo soy de Perú.
Hola, yo soy de Bolivia.
Nos encanta Villa de Leyva.
Y estamos felices de estar acá. Vengan al Festival de los
Está súper chévere.
As a tribute to nature and to create ecological awareness, the Tree Festival takes place in October. It is an encounter with plants and flowers that marvels the visitor when admiring the color and the perfection of form and shape. On the eve of the December festivities, the display of fireworks attracts thousands of tourists who gaze admiringly at the night decorated with lights that dance in the sky. In this town, the artisans excel for their genius and variety of creations. the work on the looms is another important sample of artistic ability. In spite of the passing of time, this antique trade is still in use and productive. The weaving of woolen articles requires a long process that maintains, to a good degree, its ancestral technique. Able hands braid the wool to complete attractive woven products as the country evenings come to an end. Villa de Leyva is a place that inspires all creative and manual activities. Many painters allow the calm atmosphere to guide their hands on the canvas, creating beautiful works of art.
Villa de Leyva es el lugar más precioso para vivir en forma tranquila, para meditar, para pintar. Es un pueblo que te requiere sensibilidad y obviamente la gente que viene aquí, la mayoría de turistas son gente sensible.
The villa enjoys its great gastronomic wealth in approximately 90 typical and international restaurants. It also possesses a large hotel infrastructure of excellent quality that ranges from hospitable colonial inns to ample hotels with all the commodities and services. This beautiful town is located 170 kilometers from Bogotá and 38 kilometers from Tunja, with excellent thoroughfares framed by picturesque landscapes. Here, the touristic proposals are diverse and very attractive. This is Villa de Leyva. It possesses the virtue to eternally preserve those who have walked on its roads and admired its temples. The villa seems to be painted with thin, gentle brushstrokes that dance at the rhythm of the breeze. It is a magical place that enlightens your senses and exalts the soul. It is where musicians compose and sing songs in gratitude to their land.
La más linda de las flores, que en Boyacá floreciera, el Edén, el paraíso, una de mi patria es ella, eres mi nidito de amores, señora Villa de Leyva, eres mi nidito de amores, señora Villa de Leyva. día tienes la dicha, contemple el amanecer que tiene esta linda tierra, tierra que nos dio nacer, inclinado a tu belleza y dulzura de mujer. Se detiene en el ocaso, se detiene en el ocaso, el sol de tu atardecer.
This is Villa de Leyva, the so-called pretty little pampered Colombian girl. Its hard-working people of a rigorous race labor their future day by day where time seems to have stopped. Here, you feel something you can't explain, but that nevertheless penetrates in your body and soul. The hidden shadows of the past wander hand in hand in the enchantment of the breeze, creating invisible trails that can only be heard when you set foot on this fascinating land.